All right, guys, we are now going to be going into science. We're in chapter 3, government, lesson 3, governments around the world. So to get to history, you're going to click on your waffle, scroll all the way down till you hit Savvis EasyBridge. You're going to log in, and then you can use that blue link for math, and that's fine because we're going to the same home page. And then once you're here, you're going to go to the right-hand side and you're going to click on the social studies book. Now, if you want to use your book, you can actually use your book as well. It's going to be the My World Interactive. Looks like this. Okay, this is the book you need. If you don't have this book, you're going to go to chapter 3, government. Scroll down to lesson 3, governments around the world. Now, for those of you who do not have this book, we're going to click on the student e-text. We're starting with our vocabulary words. If you have your book, what you're going to do is you are going to find chapter 3. Now, what I normally do is I go to the table of contents at the top beginning. I'm right here, chapter 3, government. And then it tells me lesson 3 is on page 86. I'm going to go to page 86. And there we are. It says chapter 3, governments around the world. I'm sorry, chapter 3, lesson 3. And it looks like the lesson 3 check is on page 91. There is more. There's critical thinking skills. There's a your turn page. We're not going to go through those. However, if you want to, those are going to be optional. So like page 93 says something about a nearby pond smells. It has trash. What is the problem? The trash is making the pond smell. What information will help you solve the problem? And then look at the picture. This is one solution. Talk with a partner about it. So it looks like people are cleaning up. Draw a picture of your solution. Talk about your solution with a partner. So that's if you want to. I'm only going to have assigned on your weekly schedule pages 86 to 91. So I'm going to do that right now. Page 86 to 91. All right. And then I'm actually, since we're already here, let's find out how many pages is lesson 4. Lesson 4 will be 94 to 97. And it looks like we have a primary source, but we'll read that another day. So we're going to go 94 to 97. And that will be for Wednesday. Okay. All right, let's go back to page 86. If you have your book, this is the page you're on, page 86. It has the picture of the people crossing the street. Someone's on a scooter, there's a policeman, and it looks like we're in like Japan or something. I guess we'll find out. All right, so let's go ahead and read.
Lesson 3, Governments Around the World. Vocabulary.
So we have independence, which means the state of being free from the rule of another government. Colony, a place that is ruled by a country far away. And freedom, the right to choose what we do and say. Our academic vocabulary is going to be document, an official paper that supports something. Unlock the big question. I will know why countries need government and what America's government is about. And then the jumpstart activity, if we were in class, we would have, or in like a school class, work in a small group together, make a poster to show how a classroom government might be set up. Talk about your ideas with the class, and we're going to go ahead and skip that today. So we're on page 86 still. Why countries need government.
Why countries need government. Most governments help their citizens by making laws to protect rights and property. The best governments work hard so their countries have success. Governments make laws for safety, such as setting speed limits. Police officers carry out laws with the help of cameras and other tools to catch speeders. Most people who drive too fast get a ticket. Drivers who do something more serious go to court. Citizens in the United States vote and elect leaders. These leaders follow the laws of our Constitution. In some countries, people do not choose their leaders. For example, kings or queens may rule a country because their parents were leaders. Other countries are ruled by one person who takes over. In these places, the leader decides what the law is and if it has been broken. This leader also decides what the punishment is. People may have few rights. Other countries may be ruled by a group of powerful people. Few people are allowed to make changes in this form of government. 1. Reading check. Highlight reasons countries make laws in yellow. Highlight how police officers carry out laws in pink. Talk with a partner about what may happen in countries ruled by one person.
All right, so in your book, it says underline reasons countries make laws. We're going to be highlighting it in our online version in yellow. Bless me. All right, so highlight reasons countries make laws in yellow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reread. That's a comprehension skill that you guys can use or strategy to find the answer. So why do countries make laws? We need to find a reason why countries make laws. Ready? Most governments help their citizens by making laws to protect rights and property. So underline reasons countries make laws to protect rights and property. So I'm going to highlight that in yellow. If you're at home, you can also underline that. I'm going to highlight it because it's going to be easier for you guys to see. The best governments work hard so their countries have success. Governments make laws for safety, such as setting speed limits. So why do they make laws? Underline reasons countries make laws for safety. I'm going to highlight that in yellow. So you guys are still underlining if you're in your book. Police officers carry out laws with the help of cameras and other tools to catch speeders. Most people who drive too fast get a ticket. Drivers who do something more serious go to court. So that was the next part of this. Highlight how police officers carry out laws in pink. So here, how do police officers carry out laws? You guys are going to be circling this next part in your book. How do they carry it out? With the help of cameras and other tools. So how police officers carry out laws is they use cameras, they use other tools, they watch, and then how do they carry out the law? So if you break a law, what do? They give you a ticket. You get a ticket, and this is not a good ticket. This is a ticket means that you have to pay money for breaking a law. And sometimes you have to go to court. So that is some of the things that police officers do to help make sure that people are following the laws. The next portion says, talk with a partner about what may happen in countries ruled by one person. Well, if a country is ruled by one person, usually that would be like a king or queen. And they rule a country because maybe their parents were leaders, or maybe someone that they knew was a leader, like maybe it was maybe not their parents, but their auntie or their uncle. In some countries, people don't choose their leaders. For example, in the United States, we choose our leaders. Every 4 years, we get to vote on who our president is going to be. But some countries, like where there are kings and queens, usually kings and queens are not by a vote. They're usually something that is given to you by your birthright. Other countries are ruled by one person who takes over. In these places, the leaders decide what the law is and if it has been broken. This leader also decides what the punishment is. People may have few rights. Other countries may be ruled by a group of powerful people. Few people are allowed to make changes in this form of government. All right, guys, let's move on to page 88. We are now on page 88. You're going to see this picture of Thomas Jefferson standing, which is this man standing right here. He wrote the Declaration of Independence. He worked with other leaders, such as Benjamin Franklin on the left and John Adams, who's on the right, who offered ideas for changes.
The Declaration of Independence. Long ago, people in our country were ruled by England, but the people did not want to be ruled this way. They wanted independence. They wanted to choose their own leaders to represent them. These people lived in 13 different colonies. A colony is a place that is ruled by a country far away. Word-wise. Suffix. You know what colony means. What is a colonist? Thomas Jefferson, standing, wrote the Declaration of Independence. He worked with other leaders such as Benjamin Franklin on the left and John Adams, who offered ideas for changes. The colonists wanted freedom. Freedom is the right to choose what we do and say. They asked Thomas Jefferson, an American leader, to write a document telling their reasons for separating from England and declaring their independence. He wrote the Declaration of Independence. In it, Jefferson said, primary source, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, easy to see, that all men are created equal." Thomas Jefferson, The Declaration of Independence, 1776. The document said that the colonists were free from England. Our country's leaders agreed to it on July 4, 1776. 2. Reading check. Cause and effect. Write the cause.
So
Cause. Effect. Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence.
So when you guys think of cause and effect, we're not going to actually do this. We're just going to talk about it. So think of it this way. Think of cause as like, because of this, something happened. So for example, because you were not participating in class, the effect was that you lost a dojo point. Or because you didn't study for the test, the effect was you didn't do very well on your test. Or because you did pay attention in class and you studied for your test, the effect was you got a really good score. Or because you were thirsty, the effect was you went to the kitchen to get some water. Or because you broke the window playing baseball outside, the effect was you had to use your money that you saved to fix the broken window. Or because you were hungry, the effect was you went to McDonald's and bought yourself a hamburger. So think of cause as because of this. So because of something, Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. So let's see, the colonists, and so remember, colony is a place that is ruled by a country far away. So a colonist is a person. It's a person that is ruled by a country from far away. So the colonists, they were the people who were being ruled by England. These people were being ruled by England, and they no longer wanted to be ruled by England. They wanted freedom. They wanted to be able to choose what they did and say. And they asked Thomas Jefferson, an American leader, to write a document telling their reasons for wanting to be able to be independent, for wanting their freedom, so that they weren't a part of England anymore. So because the colonists wanted freedom from England, the effect was that Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. And we're actually going to watch a video about it now. All right, so the preamble is going to be the first section of the Constitution. So we are going to listen to a song that was created that uses the words from our preamble.
Hey, do you know about the USA? Do you know about the government? Can you tell me about the Constitution? Hey, learn about the USA. In 1787, I'm told our founding fathers did agree to write a list of principles for keeping people free. The USA was just starting out, a whole brand new country, and so our people spelled it out, the things that we should be. And they put those principles down on paper and called it the Constitution. And it's been helping us run our country ever since then. The first part of the Constitution is called the Preamble and tells what those founding fathers set out to do. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. In 1787, I'm told our founding fathers all sat down and wrote a list of principles that's known the world around. The USA was just starting out a whole brand new country, and so our people spelled it out. They wanted a land of liberty, and the preamble goes like this. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America, for the United States of America.
All right. Let's go ahead and go back to our schedule. So now it looks like we're going to be on page 90.
Do you know about the U.S.?
Okay, we're on page 90 now. We're on page 90. The Constitution and Bill of Rights. We're on page 90 in your books.
The Constitution and Bill of Rights. England did not want the colonists to break away to form their own country. It did not want them to be free. So the colonists fought to gain their independence, and England fought to keep them as colonies. The colonists did win their independence, though. They called their new country the United States of America. Then our country's leaders formed a government for the nation. But the government turned out to be too weak. So the leaders decided they needed a new plan. They wanted a plan that was strong but did not take away freedoms. So they created the United States Constitution, which is our country's plan of government. 3. Reading check. Highlight the reason the United States Constitution was created.
So you guys in your books are going to underline. In your book, it says, underline the reason the United States Constitution was created. So let's reread. Why did they create the Constitution? So England did not want the colonists to break away. They did not want them to be free. So the colonists fought to gain their independence, and England fought to keep them as colonies. The colonists did win their independence, though. They called their new country the United States of America. So let's read the question again. The question is, highlight the reason the United States Constitution was created. So we still don't know why the Constitution was created. So let's keep reading. They called their new country the United States of America. Then our country's leader formed a government for the nation, but the government turned out to be too weak. So the leaders decided they needed a new plan. They wanted a plan that was strong, but that did not take away freedoms. So they created the United States Constitution, which is our country's plan of government. Oh, okay. So they created a plan that was strong, but did not take away freedoms. And so that's why they created the United States of America Constitution, which is our country's plan of government. So why did they create this Constitution? Because they wanted to have a strong government, but it didn't take away freedoms of the people. Okay, let's read the next page. It's just page 91.
The Constitution includes the Bill of Rights. It lists 10 rights that protect our freedoms and that are shared by all citizens. These include being free to say and write what we want, as long as it does not hurt anyone. Also, we are free to practice any religion we choose. We are free to join in a group, to speak for or against issues, to vote, and to get a fair trial.
So those are just some of the freedoms that we have by living here in America. All right, next we are going to look at our lesson 3 check.
Lesson 3, check. 4. Compare and contrast. Read how some leaders come to power. Just take over, are elected, or rule because their parents ruled. Write words to complete the sentence. Leaders in the United States, blank. 5. Write about a freedom you have.
So read how some leaders come to power. Just take over. So some just take over. Some are elected. Some rule because their parents ruled, like kings and queens. Write words to complete the sentence. Leaders in the United States are which of those? Can you guys tell me? Are United States leaders do they just take over? Do they get elected, or do they rule because their parents ruled? Come on, guys, stay focused in the chat. Go ahead and tell me in the chat. Leaders in the United States. Very good, Ray. Leaders in the United States get elected. We have to vote for them. So if you're writing it in your book, you're just writing get elected. If you're typing it here on the lesson 3 check, you're just writing get elected because you're just completing the sentence. You don't need to write the full sentence because it's already there. Leaders in the United States get elected. Okay, number 5, write about a freedom you have and why it is important. Write about a freedom you have and why it is important. So what are one of the freedoms that we have? You can go back to page 90 and 91 to see. So, well, actually 91 in your books. The Constitution includes the Bill of Rights. It lists 10 rights that protect our freedoms and that are shared by all citizens. These include being free to say and write what we want as long as it does not hurt anyone. Also, we are free to practice any religion we choose. We are free to join in a group to speak for or against issues, and we are free to vote and to get a fair trial. So write about a freedom you have and why it is important. So I'm going to say one of my freedoms is to speak for or against an issue. Now, why is that important? If I believe a rule is not fair, I can speak up and make changes in my community. So, for example, what I mean by this is, let's say that Miss Park made a rule that, sorry guys. Okay, let's say that Miss Park made a rule that nobody can go to recess anymore. Let's say you guys are at school and I said, you know what, recess is boring and I don't want to do recess anymore, but you guys can stay inside and play games and you guys can just play on your computer. Now, that would not be a very good rule, maybe. Some of you guys might say, yeah, that's a great rule. And you would say, yeah, I really want to play games. I love playing Roblox and Minecraft. I want to stay inside. But some others might say, Miss Park, we need our recess time and we need to go outside. Recess is good because we get to exercise, we can talk with our friends, and it's important for us to be able to build relationships with one another. And it's good to go outside because the sun is actually really good for you. You can get a lot of vitamin D, and it's good to exercise. It's healthy for your body. We're also able to take a snack outside, and that can be really healthy. So it's very important for you guys to be able to speak up against the issues that there might be, or a rule or a law. And then that way, when people listen and hear what you guys have to say, then you guys can also benefit everybody else because maybe if you hadn't said anything and if more people said, yeah, let's play games. I want to play games every day. I don't want to go outside ever. I don't want to exercise. I just want to sit and play lots of games. Then if everyone if no one said anything and no one spoke up, then maybe no one would go exercise anymore. And then that could be very harmful for your body. You can get very sick easily. It would be harder for you guys to get places. Maybe if you ended up going on like a trip with your family and they do a lot of exercising, you wouldn't be able to like keep up with everyone, or you would get really tired. So that's why it's very important for us to speak up, because not only does it affect you, but it affects a lot of people as well. Number 6, last question. Why does the Constitution include the Bill of Rights? So again, let's look at page 91. If you don't have page 91 and you're in this, what you can do is you can actually click the back button and then you can reread it as well on here. I'm going to stay on this page so that you guys can finish questions 4 and 5. Okay. So why does the Constitution include the Bill of Rights? So the Constitution includes the Bill of Rights. It lists 10 rights that protect our freedoms and that are shared by all citizens. These include being free to say and write what we want as long as it doesn't hurt anyone. Also, we are free to practice any religion we choose, and we are free to join in a group to speak for or against issues, to vote, and to get a free trial. So why does the Constitution include the Bill of Rights? It lists 10 rights that protect our freedoms and that are shared by all citizens. And I took this directly from our book on page 91. So why does the Constitution include the Bill of Rights? Because it lists 10 rights that protect our freedoms and that are shared by all citizens. Go ahead, I'm going to give you guys a minute to write that down. All right, if you're on YouTube, what you can do is you can pause the video at this point and you can finish what you need. If you're not on YouTube and you're in class, you can rewatch this video later. Oh, actually, you know what I can do? I can also copy paste these into this chat. So question 4 is get elected. 5 is, let me see if I can just copy paste it. One of my freedoms is to speak for or against an issue. If I believe a rule is not fair, I can speak up and make changes in my community. And then 6, it lists 10 rights that protect our freedoms and that are shared by all citizens. All right, so the answers to each of those are in the chat. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to click exit. And then what I'm going to look at now is going to be our lesson review, which is going to be this finger that is pointing up. Okay, here we go. Instructions. Choose the best answer to each question. What documents do leaders in the United States follow to govern the country? Which is our Constitution. Which sentence best describes the United States government? Citizens vote and elect leaders. One leader makes all the decisions. No, a small group of leaders run the country. Well, we all help run the country because we all get to have a say in our country. We are able to vote and elect for our leaders. So I believe that it's going to be A. Awesome. Next, we have question number 2. Why do most governments make laws? To protect people's rights, to take away their rights, to stop changes, to make people go to court. Now, we answered this on page 87. 87, underline reasons countries make laws. Well, it's actually on page 86 where we highlighted it. Countries make laws for safety, and they make laws to protect rights and properties. So why do governments make laws? To protect people's rights. And then that's it. So we do have some time left. So I am going to ask a few of you guys to stay. Now, if you guys have a lot of missing work, you will be staying.